Hi all, I know that in this first path exercise for the assignment for the semester, you all, or a lot of you, have already used the gradient tool. And gradient is not a hard thing to do. To refresh, I could just create an M key, right, a rectangle. Here, I'll delete it, and I'll just hold the Shift key and the Alt or Option key, and I'll draw it from the center out, just to make a big rectangle. Okay, cool. Now, if I just click over here in the swatches palette and I click to any gradient like this, I can have my gradient palette out just like I do here, and I can actually click the radial gradient, right? So what I want to do is to show you a cool trick. So what I'm going to do is move this orange one over, and if I hit the G key, you can see that I can actually move them over here as well. So if you look here, in a radial gradient, the left side is the center of your radial gradient. The right side of the palette is the outer part. So if I move this gold one over here this way, it also moves over to the left that way. So what I want to do is just contain this a little bit smaller. And there's many ways to do this, but I'm doing this for a reason. Okay, so I'm going to bring this yellow right up like that. And I'm going to click a new one. So if I just click over here, watch, if I click right there, right, I now have a new center, which I'm going to make white. So I'm going to double click that little circle, and I'm going to take the yellow and move it all the way to the left. Now I have a white center, which is what I wanted to do. So what I'm going to do now is just continue to move these over just to give myself a beautiful blend like this. And then I'm going to click a new one over here, move it to the end or near the end, and I'm going to double click it, and I'm going to saturate it with K, which is black. So look at how I'm saturating it with magenta and with a little bit more, so to make it more purple on the edge. Oh, okay. Now, why I'm doing that is, let me just move this over and get it right. So now I have kind of a spacey looking nebula. Right? So again, I want to just move it over even farther so I get more of that black coming in here, okay, to give myself a nice edge, all right? And what I want to do is to show you something very cool. Yes, I can take the G key and I can go like this, or I could go like this, and it's just the circle, right? And I can actually take that now and just move the whole gradient. I can rotate it, right? I can grab this and I can just rotate it or make it bigger. So you can see how I can actually move things over. Let me just grab this and bring this over here. So I'm going to start in the center and just work my way to the outside like I did before. Now that's a pretty well centered one, and I can rotate it like that, okay? Or if I grab this little black end right here, and I have to be careful to grab it, watch how I can take the center and force it to the edge. Look at how I can create what they refer to as an alpha shine. See how I can do that? I can bring this right over to the edge and give that an amazing feel right there. So what I'm going to do is just click the direct selection tool to show you how cool that nebula is. And I call it a nebula now because I feel like it's a space thing, something that belongs in space. So I'm going to click the G key, and I want to show you again something. So what I've done is I went to the internet and I got a couple space backgrounds. Now, let me move this over so I can show you the space background. So what I have is a big black kind of ugly edge, right? And that doesn't really look good because you can see the edges. Now watch what Illustrator allows. Watch how I can click this to bring it back to the gradient palette so it's on the gradient palette. And by the way, if I have a couple more things to show you. If I like what I've done here, and I do, all right, I can drag this to the swatches palette and create a library, which is very cool. Now, Each one of these circles here has the capability of having opacity. Now, if the black is on the edge, watch how I can drag across the opacity, insert 0, hit the return key, and now if I click away from it, look at what I've created. Look at how neat that is. Now, if I take the regular selection tool and click it, or didn't matter, I guess, and hit the G key, I can actually grab this outer part, not the white, and I can move it and create a different feel to empower or to create this really cool effect. So Illustrator, just like Photoshop, has the capability to have opacity on its colors. And when we get into things like the gradient mesh tool, that's really going to impact it. That's really going to create something beautiful. I'm going to actually get rid of this one. See this orange one? If you don't want a color in there, just pull it off. If you want to move things over here, look at how it's totally impacting that. And now I'm going to pick this up here on the black, right, and move my alpha effect closer to the edge. So that's very cool. I mean, I think that that is a really beautiful way to work images in. Now here it is with a different image. So what I've done, let me unlock that. What I've done is I have a different image. So now let me move this over so you can see the impact of what I've done. But now look at it without the image. Still pretty cool. Look at it with the image. And the neat part is you have full control over where this goes. Now look at that whole thing without the picture. I mean, it looks kind of dead, right? So you can bring in a background, which all I did to bring in a background was create a layer and go to File, Place. And when I placed it, like this next window is going to come up, I went to the internet and I got these two free for commercial use pictures, and I made sure link was selected down here before I clicked place. So I'm going to cancel that. So I just wanted you to see a very beautiful effect with the gradient palette and using opacity with gradients and with the independent colors that are inside the actual shape that you made. So there's going to be more little demos to come, and I look forward to showing you some really cool tricks.